Avenue projects.
Yes.
My goodness.
I was born, yes.
That's
Seventh,
what my mom grew up.
it was the 7th Avenue projects. I was literally born in the house.
Wow.
My mother didn't have enough time to go to the hospital with me, so that just tells you how fast I wanted to get out.
Yes. You wanted to get a jump start.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm
But-
actually. Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I'm from the Central Ward as well. So
Very good.
Great.
So you should set up a coffee clutch with us.
That
Maybe
sounds
get all the
great.
neighbors. Well, I'll buy the coffee and the donuts. How's that?
And we can invite my mom.
Yes, please. As many people as we can get. And if we get overcrowded, we'll take it outside.
That sounds great. I'm just really excited about the campaign and just everything. Is my mic? Did I turn my mic on?
So, yeah. Okay. Hello. Checks testing 1 2 1 2.
Okay, yeah, you can't turn me off. I'm just excited about everything that the campaign is doing for Newark. Just excited to have you here. What can you say that your campaign will bring that the Booker campaign hasn't already to the city of Newark?
Well, first of all, I can say that being born and raised in the Central Ward and going through 5 different council members and still having the Central Ward being the first ward in the city of Newark with 57,000 plus residents, 38,000 being registered voters, and not having a police department, to me says, who's getting this job done? You know, with 57,000 residents in the Central Ward, and an emergency in the state of the emergency city that we live in, that is terrible for us. Because if we need some type of police protection or police emergency to be taken care of, if we're on the north side of the Central Ward, we'd have to wait for a North Ward police officer to come. And if they're not busy in the North Ward, you know what I'm saying? So we have to wait for them to come to our aid on the north side. If we're in the same story for every other side of the Central Ward, we're in the South Ward, the West Ward, the East Ward, and the North Ward, and we have to wait for all of these other wards to come and take care of us if we needed some type of emergency, which I say we should have our own police department.
Yes.
And if I fight for that, which is one of my reasons for running for office, because let me tell you guys that born and raised in the Central Ward, I've been involved in politics since the age of 17.
Okay.
I met the then Councilman at Large, Sharp James, and through Louis Quintana, who's our council elected at large now, we spoke, and Louis got us on board, and we met Sharp James, and he told us about the election that he was going to run in '86. And as a young boy, I got infatuated. I liked what's taking place. I liked running the streets. I liked putting up posters. I liked ripping down posters.
Yeah.
I liked, it was just in me.
Yeah.
And 20-some years later, I'm seeing that I've been through 5 council people. George Branch, who was a very long time council person in the Central Ward. Then Charlie Bell, Cory Booker actually.
Right.
Then Charlie Bell, then Dana Roan, then Charlie Bell, and now the current council person. And still, we don't have a police department. Still, the Central Ward is treated like a stepchild.
Right.
We don't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
And from the first ward, we're treated like the last ward. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, we lay off 167 cops, being that we need more police officers. Bringing a police department to the Central Ward would mean bringing more police officers, creating more jobs, making sure that our children and our citizens are safer, that our streets are cleaner, because the city of Newark is being the biggest city in the state of New Jersey. We need to be taken care of. I mean, we have 277,000 plus members or residents in the city of Newark, and daily, with the traffic flow and the mass transit, we're hosting about over 1 million people per day in the city of Newark.
Yes.
Which means that the majority of these people coming into the city of Newark have to come to the Central Ward, because you can't get to the north, from the north to the south without going through the Central.
Right.
You can't get from the east to the west without going through the Central. So we're hosting everybody. In other words, the Central Ward is the heart of the city. So for being the heart of the city, which is the machine that runs the body, we sure don't show it. We don't have and I believe that needs to change. I believe, born and raised in the city of Newark and seeing the stuff that I've seen and growing up in the streets the way that I did and knowing what the poverty level is, that we should be, we deserve better than what we've gotten in the past 40 years,
Yes.
Okay.
the past 30 years.
Okay.
Definitely. Now, with that being said, I know they said under this current administration that crime is really, really low for Newark. How do you feel about that? Is that true?
I don't have access to the actual numbers to the police department because I really don't have control over that. We don't know what actually is being reported, what's not being reported. The only thing that I can tell you is the crime in Newark, from when we came in 2006, has come down. I'm not going to say dramatically, but it has come down. But I think that if we hire more police officers, it will come down significantly enough
Yes.
to even knock us off this
Okay.
so-called list of, crimes throughout the state.
Okay.
So,
So that's what you're going to bring to the Central Ward. That's something that you're going to pretty much specialize in, and more police officers.
well, not only that, we have issues. We have constituents that come talk to us, especially the seniors that live in these high-rise senior complexes that are privately owned. And for instance, when we had the Sandy hurricane come through, the city of Newark is responsible for taking care of all these folks. Meanwhile, the private owners that own these properties were doing nothing for these seniors. So I also want to make sure that I bring some type of legislature to hold them accountable for everything that happens in their buildings.
Okay.
Because those are our seniors. I mean, that could be my mother and my father living in that building. And if my mother or my father's assistant is going to you as a landlord, you need to give them the services that they deserve. Because these guys are retired people that have paid their dues. So they deserve better than what they're getting.
Okay. And how do you feel about the children? Because myself, I am a single parent. I have a teenager growing up in the Central Ward, and I do find that they took away like all the activities for the kids, after school programs. What could you do about that?
I would have to say that we have to work with our local government. We have to work with our county government, federal government, and figure out ways to bring either through philanthropy money or government money, or somehow to bring some type of recreation to the city. I mean, the city of Newark has built a recreation center down on the North Ward. We need another one in the Central Ward.
Right.
But I think that the city of Newark is limited in space to try to bring something like, some type of other stadium to the city or some type of recreational use, because as you guys know, every other lot that we had in the city of Newark was sold and there was a house put in there. So it's just we're limited in how much space we can really use to do whatever it is that we need to do. But nothing is impossible. I always say that the biggest enemy in our lives is ourselves. So if we can deal with ourselves, we can deal with everything else.
Okay. So on that note, let's just get into a tune, and we'll be right back with you all.